beautiful morning to you Nigerians and everyone watching us all over the world. It's another beautiful morning, and today being the 28th day in the month of February 2024. I was almost calling today the last day in February actually. I've forgotten that, this year is a leap year. To God be the glory for another beautiful morning, and I hope you are doing great this morning. If you're not, I pray that whatever it is that is making you feel you are not accomplished or you feel down in your spirit, the Lord will lift you up. Okay, my name is David, and my friends call me Olori HA. Yeah, it's Ghana Television and it's family and values, where we talk about family. A healthy family makes a healthy nation. A peaceful family also makes a peaceful nation. So how well are you putting this together? Anyway, I'm not here alone. Before I continue with my conversation, I have Joy here. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning. Good morning to our extended viewers. Thank you for joining us on Family and Values. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for being a part of our program. Thank you for being a part of what we do. It's a great privilege and pleasure to always come on your screen. And of course, we know that you're learning for every topic we bring because we get the feedbacks, and thank you for all the feedbacks. Please, we are streaming across all our social media platforms. Download the Galaxy mobile app so that you can watch us on the go, and turn on your notification button so that you know when Family and Value is on. Thank you for being our guest this morning, and welcome once again to Family and Values.
Okay, today is midweek, Wednesday precisely, and I think, when you start the week, Monday, Tuesday, and when it gets to Wednesday, kind of, shake it up a little. Yeah, thank God I've accomplished Monday, I fulfilled Tuesday. Wednesday is another time, by God's grace, I'll fulfill it. When Thursday is coming, you try to limit all the fire, it comes down, and like, it's not that you're dropping it totally, but at least it comes to. Even when you get to the banking hall, you see them, a little bit dressed down, not all the big wigs. Even the lawyers do that, except when they are going to court for appearance.
I just feel Wednesdays, the time is down, the rush is not there. You just feel kind of relaxed, like what you said, you've accomplished, you've done Monday, Tuesday. So Wednesday is like, okay, I think I can take a chill play, and then you're looking up to Thursday and Friday for the.
That's how it goes. Anyway, as many of us are hopeful, and February is almost done. We're walking into March by the grace of God. So, how has the month been to you? How have you, been able to put things together? Does it look like you didn't try at all? Does it look like it was not what you were expecting? Yeah, sometimes you have our ups and downs, but that doesn't mean it's the end of everything. There's so many other good chances. It's just for you to learn from whatever it is you have left unattended to and hit the ground running. Don't leave any stone unturned.
Very true, Sha. I know somebody that celebrates birthday once in 4 years. So tomorrow is the person.
Okay, yes. I have a friend doing celebrating today. The clique of Fifth Floor, talking about Feikemi Ambassador, Dr. Ambassador Feikemi Yolayinka. She's having another year today. She's actually going to be 50. She's a colleague, a friend, and a soul sister. Also, happy birthday to Mrs. Yetunde Olowoniyi, my mom's best sister in the neighborhood. It's so good to have you, man. Happy birthday, many more fulfilling years to everyone celebrating today, because she brought that up this morning. And like what I tell you, if you want us to share something, beautiful messages regarding your loved ones, just send us on that text message any day, whenever we come up. We'll always share the good news and send your beautiful perspective wishes to those who are celebrating. Whether it's your wedding anniversary, goes even better. Yes. So, Joy, tell me, to you, our topic today is going to be very, very interesting. And, I was just going through my books, and I'm like, communication, relationship, do they have anything in common? Why do we need to communicate? What comes to our mind when we're communicating? Do we even trust ourselves when we're passing a message across? How well does it go down your, even if you are not husband and wife, maybe you're just colleagues, your friends, your partners in business, your brothers and sisters, sometimes brothers and sisters, or even brothers to brothers, sister to sister, of the same blood. What goes through your mind when you communicate? How well do you pass that message across? Because even the Holy Book has said that when you're passing a message, do it in love. You understand? So when communication comes to you, how do you say it?
I think for me, communication is literally everything that has to do with a relationship. You cannot be in a relationship and take away communication. It's as important as the foundation of everything. And so many relationships have crashed because there's simple lack of communication. Simply because you didn't tell somebody where you're going to, and the person misunderstood it or misunderstood it somewhere else. And again, the fact that communication can be seriously misunderstood is another thing, is another issue, because there's how you pass your message and the other person is not taking it lightly.
Yeah.
So there's a whole lot when you talk about communication, the way you communicate, the way you pass your message, the language in which you use in even communicating is key. So you talk about your body language, you talk about your facial expression, the tone in which you use
to pass the message.
So all of that is when there's people that when they are talking to you feel they are angry, but no, it's just the way they talk. So if you do not understand such a person, you feel like, why is this person ranting? Yeah,
even when you understand such a person, the other person who feels they are not understanding the way I'm passing the message, you also look at it from the angle that maybe I did not pass it in the right perspective. So maybe I should tone it down a little, or maybe I should find a better time for me to, some people see message or communication as something, there are certain things you don't discuss when my HOP is not there, when Johnson is not there. There are certain things I don't want to, correct you or talk to you about. There are certain things. So even as husband and wife, as colleagues, if I want to talk to Johnson, I will tell him, Johnson, I want to see you. Why? Because I know whatever it is I want to discuss with him, it's not for the third party. And I don't want anybody to hear it and feel like, Johnson feels like, with an intimidation. This woman is always intimidating me. Why are you making me feel uncomfortable? You understand? So it goes a long way, and we must find the right time, the right space, the right atmosphere, the perfect timing, and the way to pass it across. So we'll need to go off mini feature right now. I will be coming back to when we're staging Mr. Family and Values. Okay, welcome back. It's the Family and Values, and you've not missed anything, like we'll tell you. We're just putting it together. And so if you're ready to join us, just follow our social media platforms, join us live, because we'll be discussing something very, very, very important and very unique. Okay, when I mean unique, it's not something we can finish now, but we do pick just a scrap of it, and we pray that it goes well with you. And if you have any question that you want to contribute, or in any way, just send your message through social media platform or on SMS line, just SMS by text message. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so this month we're looking at communication, the bedrock of relationship. Communication, bedrock of relationship. And we have here seated with us already our guest, Abiodun Mapadeche. Okay. I was telling my producer I can pronounce that name even when in my sleep, because I went to school with a lady that gets that name, and so it's very easy for me. I can remember, very close to me then. So it's so good to have you with us, sir. Good morning. He's an author, an actor, and a motivator. He's going to be motivating us on communication, the bedrock of relationship this morning, and we are going to allow him go unless he give us all we desire. So what do you mean? Can you just give us the simply understanding of communication being the bedrock of relationship in a short form?
I think that title is simple enough for anyone to understand. Communication being the bedrock, the foundation, the pillar of relationship. where there is no communication, there is no relationship. We probably are strange bedfellows, or we are cohabitors in the same house, in the same apartment. But there's no real relationship if there is no communication. So the importance of communication in relationship in marriage cannot be overemphasized.
Okay, before we went on the show, we're talking about modes in which people can communicate, and now I want to ask, are there good and bad communication? Obviously, we all know that communication can be misunderstood. One might think you're passing a message, but the other receiver is receiving it in a different way. It could be good, it could be bad. But the communicator that is passing it, and I want to know for our viewers, for them to get enlightened, do we have good and bad communication? And if yes, can you do a little bit of explanation?
Okay. First, let's not forget that there is verbal communication and then there is non-verbal communication. In communication, there is the sender, there is the receiver, but the line of communication is not yet complete until there is a feedback. Okay, it is the feedback that helps you, the sender of the message, to know if the receiver actually received the message you were trying to pass across. So if there is no feedback, there is no way you will know if the person got the message. Now, means of communication also become very important in whether your message is the right, you are passing it across the right way or not, whether the person will receive it the right way or not, whether the person will understand you, what you are to pass across. So, of course, words are the most basic way of passing across any information, or we are communicating anything. Now, there are words that you will say, like, permit me to say in my language, they say, Bele, Oniobi, Oniako. There is a way you can tell somebody sorry, and the person would know that you meant sorry. And there is a way you say sorry, the person obviously knows that this one is not coming from the heart. So, yes, in that instance, I would say there is good communication, and then there is bad communication. At the end of the day, also, mood also are very important in whether your message is as good or as bad. And then before we go on, let me also quickly say this. I talked about non-verbal communication. Now, the thing about non-verbal communication is that if I look at you in a certain way, you are also looking at me, and you know that I'm trying to say something to you with the way I'm looking at you. Yeah. There is a tendency for you to misunderstand what I am trying to pass across. Now, so I say to people, if communication can be misunderstood, verbal communication can be misunderstood, what makes you think that non-verbal will not be misunderstood? So at the end of the day, there is always a need to try and find a way to help the person receiving the information to understand very well what you are trying to pass across, whether in a verbal or non-verbal situation.
Okay, so how does communication affect marriage itself?
Okay, and as it relates to marriage, we'll start from the place of non-communication. Yes, non-communication. Not because they are not talking. In fact, talking alone is not what means or what it means to communicate. Like I said earlier, there is the sender of the message, there is the receiver of the message, then there is feedback. Okay, so it's not just about talking. Somebody can be talking and not saying anything. Very true. You can be talking and you talk and talk. At the end of the day, somebody is still wondering, what has she said or what has he said? So it's not just about talking. But then again, let's go to non-communication. There are relationships where people, and when I say people, men, women, so it's not just about a particular gender. There are relationships where people are not comfortable with talking. There are people who are not just the talkers. They are not comfortable with holding long conversations. They are the yellow types of people. They are talking and then all they can do is, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, right. That is it. But to also engage in a reasonable conversation, there are people who are like that. They are just not given to it. And then there are people that are the natural talkers. Of course, we say that women naturally fit into this picture. there are men also who are natural talkers.
Yes.
Yes. So when someone who is a natural talker meets someone who is not a natural talker, sometimes there will be bound to be conflicts. I'm talking, you're not saying anything. You are not responding. I feel like yes. Am I disturbing you? Am I disturbing you?
Something like that.
And it may not be that you are disturbing the person. The person is just like that. So one, you have to understand the person you are communicating with, the nature of that person, how the person receives communication, how the person responds to communication. And then people who are not natural talk oftentimes feel a bit disturbed when there are people who talk naturally. General context, men feel like when women are talking, the woman naturally just wants to talk, express her view, express her emotions, express her concerns. But the man, after you have said 1, 2, 3 sentences, let it rest. Motibo, I already understand.
No, you don't need to repeat yourself.
You don't need to repeat yourself over and over again, over the same matter. You understand? But then, again, the woman will not understand that Otibo, or that you understand, if you don't give a corresponding response that assures her that you have really heard and understood what she's saying. So if you think you have heard and understood, after 2, 3 sentences, respond. Let her know. Don't just give her, what is it now? That kind of response. That would be, in a way, some form of disrespect and disregard for her.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, now, I love the fact that you said women naturally love talking anyway. We all do love talking. But let's look at it this way. I want us to focus on the good communication. Now, what are the benefits? Because what we are trying to pass out is, at the end of the day, let there be the good communication in marriages. Because statistically, we realize that sometimes what causes divorce, split, conflicts in marriage is lack of proper communication. When you say something and the other partner misunderstands it the other way around, and then you start explaining, I didn't mean it that way, this was not it. So how now I want you to focus on the good communication. What are the benefits of good and proper communication?
Okay, number one is the fact that you have to communicate. That's the starting point. Part of communicating is passing information across as at when due. Let's give an example. In a marital union, it is common with men, which is not right, but it is common with men to feel, I'm the head of the house, I can do whatever I like, I can go out when I like and come back when I like. And then some men feel, you're my wife, what gave you the right to question me, to question my movements? I can go out and... If you are like that, you are already creating room for mistrust. You're already creating room for situations in the family that will not all go well. You understand? So, and it also goes the other way around. So, the importance of communication is such that it helps to build the marriage, it helps to build trust, it helps to build confidence, it helps to build unity amongst the couples and other members of the family. I am going out in the morning, I know I close 5 o'clock. Give and take between 5, 6 and 6:30 I should be back at home. But at 8 I am not yet back. I have not called my wife to say, this is why I am not yet back, this is what is happening on the road. And then perhaps she also even tried to call me and didn't get through. Maybe I wasn't picking, maybe I didn't know my phone was ringing or something. And then I get home at 8:30 in the evening. And then she asks, honey, what's the problem? I've been trying to call you. You say what do you mean by that? Can't I come back? What's your business with my movement? Can't I come back anytime? Yeah. You already create an impression that you are hiding something. That why shouldn't your wife be able to ask you why you are coming late? So if you are that kind of person, you're already creating room for mistrust. You're already creating room, impression that maybe there's something you are doing that you don't want her to know. And of course it could be the other way around too. As a woman, you are going to the market, you have told your husband you the market. So from market, something now happens, and now you realize that from this I have to see this friend and then see that friend before I get back home. And then do not see a need for you after doing your marketing runs to call your husband. I'm through with the market things, but I realize I have to do this. But you just go, and then you are back 2 hours, 3 hours later. And then the man is asking, but you said you were going to the market. It shouldn't take you this long now. I didn't know. Well, it's no big deal. And then you cannot say something reasonable to say, oh, this is why this. Such things create, grounds for mistrust. It creates grounds for people to begin to have doubts about who you are, what you say you do, and all of that. So, but then, talking about how to use communication to build their marriage, to build trust, it is very important to know that you have to be able to pass across information as at when due.
As at when due.
In law, there is something that is called non-disclosure, same as in insurance. Okay. So there is
I will hold you for now. You come back and tell us something about the non-disclosure, because I want to know what it entails and what is the content of it. Right now, it's time for us to go for our marble, word of marble, and we'll be right back because our Zoom guest is on standby. So don't go anywhere, stay tuned. On the bedrock of relationship. In a relationship, you need to know how to communicate. And like our studio guest said, I wrote, you know you are doing mathematics. So I wrote sender plus receiver all over feedback. Guys, if you didn't want to laugh, you just, that kind of smile. You fool yourself. Anyway, it's time for us to connect with our Zoom guests, a person of Pastor Mrs. Fumilola Oni. She is the woman behind the curtain God is using. She's a shepherd of Grace Abound Christian Assembly, Brackhouse. Good morning, madam. Good morning, Pastor. How are you, ma'am? Hello, Pastor Fumilola. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Oh no. Can you hear me, Pastor? Okay, I think we'll have to work on that. When we get, I was actually hearing that first, and suddenly. Hello? Hello? Hello, Pastor Fumilola. Good morning, ma. Hello, Pastor. Okay, I think we'll have to continue with our studio guest until when we are able to connect back with her. You can't hear me, but I can hear you. Okay, now I want you to give us what are the benefits of good communication. I want to believe you have said one or two things about it, but still to have an idea of this non-disclosure in communication when it comes to marriage. Give us a brief on that.
Okay, so I was going to talk about in law and then in insurance. There is what is called non-disclosure, but there are two variants of it. There is the innocent non-disclosure, and then there is the fraudulent non-disclosure. In insurance, for example, you take an insurance policy, say motor insurance, and then it is required that when something happens to your car, you should tell your insurer, give full details of what happened, if you were at fault, if somebody else was at fault, and all of those things. Now, if for whatever reason, when something happens to your car, you did not disclose, you did not tell your insurer, oh, that's so and so happened, and then after maybe 2-3 weeks, you now come and you want to come and claims. The insurer will want to find out, why did you not inform when it happened? Was it because you did not know you were supposed to inform the insurer, or was it because you were trying to hide something? So in those two instances, the first one is innocent. You did not know, you were not aware, you didn't think it was important or necessary for you to do so. But the second one is the insurer wants to find out if you were trying to hide something, was why you did not disclose. So let's bring it to marriage. The example I was giving before, you have gone out and now you are back. You did not tell, before you go back, you did not tell your partner, oh, this is what is happening to me, this is why I'm not yet back at home, and all of that. But now you are back. Your partner is now asking you questions, and you are fighting over it.
You should be sober.
I mean, first and foremost, you should want to establish why you did not give that information at that time, material time, where you were supposed to be here, you are not here, and then you did not call inform. So you want to establish that, oh, it wasn't because we were trying to hide anything. It wasn't because it was just that, oh, maybe my phone was switched off, my battery went flat or something, my phone was in my bag, I didn't know it was ringing. So you want to establish the fact that, no, you are not doing anything wrong. That's the first one. And then 2, cannot establish that you have given room to your partner to assume that you were trying to hide something, which in this context will be termed fraudulent non-disclosure.
Okay, is our guest, the Zoom guest, Pastor Mrs. Fumilola Oni, can you hear me? Glory to Jesus. Good morning, madam. How are you, Pastor?
Good morning, Olori.
Good morning. It's so good to have you on the show. Myself and my partner were wishing you the very best of today, even as you joined us. Okay, so I want to find out from you, you as a woman of the word, a shepherd in a church, I want to use your exam now. You know, you are the best teacher when it comes to your own experience. So I want to ask, ma'am, how do you communicate with the responsibility God has given to you? How do you manage communication in your marriage with the work of the ministry?
Thank you so much for having me on the program. I really appreciate you. First of all, before I become minister, I'm a wife and a mother. And to communicate, it's very, very important. I'm having an echo here. I don't know why. So it is very important to know that I am a woman, I am a mother, I am a wife. So communication, even when I become a minister, it's make it easier for me. The reason is, when I enter into marriage, I know the importance of communication. Sometimes what you see and what you hear. Can you hear me? Olori, can you hear me?
We can hear you, ma. We can hear you. Go on. Because of our time, go on. You have to be fast.
Okay. Communication in marriage and being a mother and a minister, it is very easy for me because I know when I enter into marriage, most of you will see your hair. May not be the. So there is an important for you to see that your spouse and of course have a time. If you are the type that busy during the day, like my own now, we do discuss many things in the midnight. When we all pray, sometimes before we pray, I will discuss about children. We discuss about many things. So when I become a mother, both of us, he was very, very busy at that time. He will go to work, come back late at night. But still, it's a time to communicate with our children, even when they are very young. As a mother, I have time with them at home most of the time. So you choose time. We call it same thing in my family. Like weekend, when everybody will be at home after the devotion, then we raise points. When they were very young, I discussed things with them. So when they were growing up, it's so difficult for them to get back to us on anything they need questions. So we call it same thing in my family. We discuss. So when I enter the ministry, I see it as a platform to teach people, especially women. Communication it's a pillar that holds marriage. And when it's not being handled very well, you can use your hand as a woman to destroy your home. Men do have their own part, but 80% from women. I say women, why? Because
yes.
I see you with suffering. What is that?
So I love the fact that
you allow me to explain.
Hello, Pastor. Let me hold on to you there. I love the fact that you said that women can use their hands to destroy their own marriage due to lack of communication. So now I want you to tell us the dangers of poor communication in marriage and how can it be fixed for those marriages that are going through this issue, that they've come to you. Of course, we've had cases like that where the major problem is poor communication. So how have you been able to fix it, and what are the dangers of poor communication generally in marriage?
It can destroy your home. The Bible says, wise women build their own home. One thing I do tell people is, when you want to communicate with your spouse, you must make sure it is a good time. I know for the life of the man in the studio, that's something that when you want to communicate, like maybe you went out, you did not tell your spouse, you must give a reason why you did not tell him at that time. But at the same time, you must be a good time. Most of the women, they choose the wrong time to communicate. When a man returns from work or is busy, face many challenges out there and is back at home, that is not the time to discuss that. They are asking for children's school fees, so the caretaker came home today, the DSTV done, this and that. No, because you are putting pressure on him. And also, even within the children, you look at a good time to communicate. In my own case, I do the communication in the night. When they did something wrong, to the glory of God, my daughter is married, to the glory of God. So before she got married, if I see anything wrong, I don't address it in a harsh way. It may be in the midnight, I will call her, why did you do this? Why did you do this? This I should go, this I go. Likewise in the marriage, the right time, you look for right time to communicate. That's number one, to have a good communication. The bad aspect of that is that when you fail to communicate, what you think in your heart, what you are carrying about in your mind will not be the right thing. And for you to have a good communication, you must also be a good listener.
Okay.
If you cannot listen, you will not be able to know what to say and how to put the home in order.
Thank you very much, Pastor. Now, because we are very much running and the time is really not our friend, I want you to just give us your final word of advice to women out there and also men in like 1 minute. Your final word of advice to people who are watching and who need a little word of motivation, or to give them a little, or to advise them in any way you think you can before you take off, ma'am.
Thank you so much. What I will say to everyone in the family, communication is very, very important. Do not assume things. Discuss it. When you discuss it, you will know how to tackle it. And the word of out, what you say, your actions, it go a long way. So let us choose the right time to communicate and to be a good listener. When you listen, you will be able to answer, you'll be able to give the right answer to your spouse or to your children. The Lord bless you in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you so very much, Pastor Fumilola Oni, the shepherd of Grace Abound Christian Ministry. It's so good to have you. We should join us in the studio, and we'll be blessed by your wealth of
Thank you so much.
knowledge.
Oh,
Thank you so much.
having
Have
me.
a lovely day. Yes, ma. So we're back to you.
Thank you.
Abiodun, now let's go to this angle where we look at the benefits of good communication. What do we gain? What do the sender? What am I going to get as sender? What's she going to gain as a receiver? And the feedback, what's it going to bring to us?
Okay. Yeah. Before I go to that, let me quickly say something on what Mommy said. You know, in trying to wrap up what she said. So she's talking about the who of communication, what of communication, the when of communication, the where of communication, and the how of communication. So these are the 5 things that one must put into consideration in trying to communicate. Like she talked about, you know, your husband just came back from work. That is not the time. Talking about when, that is not the right time to bombard him with all the this one has happened, that one has happened, when will you do this one? No. So you must know the when, the how. You should, the who, the person you are trying to communicate, the temperament of the person, the natural tendency of that person, that's the who. The how, and then of course you also must know what it is that you will need to be able to pass across communication to this person, and then the thing will be open and receptive enough. And then of course, what is it that you even want to communicate? So don't model up things. Address issues one situation at a time. Don't model up things. And then so just the what, the when, the where, the how, and then the who you are communicating with. So let's talk about some benefits of good communication. Some benefits of communication in the first instance, and then good communication. One, it builds respect between the couples, the partners. You know, if you tell me things, I ask you a question and you answer me and you give me the right answer, it helps me to trust you. It helps me to respect you. It helps me to have high regard for you, because you communicating with me, telling me things, already shows that you have regard for me and have respect for me. So it will help me to also do the same towards you. Good communication builds understanding. You know, we are not at loggerheads all the time. Every time we are having to shout and screaming and nagging. So good communication builds better understanding. It helps the marriage to establish. You have less friction if you communicate and communicate well. Communication, you know, takes away it takes away trust. Because we communicate often, on the day that I'm trying to call you and I'm not able to reach you, it will be easier for me not to assume anything negative, because prior to now we've been communicating. You know? At this time he has not called me. She has not called me. That is strange. So it makes me a bit worried that why is she not calling and all of that, rather than that's what she does now. That's how she does. You know, so it helps to build trust, it helps to build better understanding, it helps the marriage to stabilize, it reduces misunderstanding, it helps you to be tolerant towards one another, you know. And then of course, in this instance, I also talk about the tone of communication. Very important, the tone of communication. Again, this may be a little bit tilted towards women. You know, you want to talk and it's the way you feel, not necessarily trying to weigh the weight of the things you are saying at that particular time. It's just how you feel. You are angry, so you just want to pour it out.
I would like to hold it down and ask this question before we round up the show. Now, how do we bring children into the place of communication? because we cannot be talking about communication in marriage
without the children.
Even if you, because what a lot of people or parents have killed their children's self-esteem due to the way they communicate. We heard our guest saying she will talk to her child later at night. Some parents don't even know how to talk to their children. They are misbehaving in the midst of friends. You'll just come and lambast the child. So how do we talk to parents? Mode of communication
with children.
In children.
Okay, first and foremost, you must understand that children, if they are in the family, they have become an integral part of the family. Irrespective of their age, they also have their own levels of understanding. You may think they don't understand, but the understanding may not dawn on them now, but they are seeing what is going on. They try to process it in their mind, in their own way. So as a parent, now the responsibility is now on you to help them understand whatever it is. For example, there could be times where you and your spouse have misunderstanding, and maybe it's such time that you are shouting at each other, and the children may not really understand why they're shouting. Either of you or both of you at some point need to call these children together, especially when you have both resolved your differences, to help them understand that, okay, this kind of things happen once in a while. It's just the fact that, you know, as parents, as adults, we have different points of view that we are trying to iron out, and then so you use that to teach them some lessons. That's one. Then two, as it regards the general affairs of the family, sometimes you need to have family meetings, maybe once in a month, maybe once in a week, just, you know, around the dinner table or the breakfast table or whatever, you know, just throw out situations, ask for their opinion. What do they think? What do they think? They may not be able to well articulate their thoughts, but they have some ideas, and you never can tell. One suggestion from a child may bring solution to whatever challenges. So you must understand that they have their own, you know, contributions to make. Listen to them, give them opportunity to talk. Also, in some cases, you have children that are, Yorubas will say, abebelube, you know, very forward. But let's try and streamline it. They are proactive. Such children, you need to learn how to help them manage their, in quotes, their being too forward. It's a strength in itself, but if it is not managed, it can be a weakness. So you have children like that, you want to listen to them. They are smart generally, you know, so you must learn to accommodate everyone in the family to be part of communication. And when there are things that are wrong, let them know. Don't leave them to just be assuming things in their mind and trying to interpret it in their own way.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want to say a big thank you to Bedrock Badeje. He's an author, a writer, and also a motivator. And also to our Zoom guest, Pastor Mrs. Lola Uni. Thank you for joining us this morning, and I hope we'll get one or two things. But if you have questions, or you have one or two things you want to contribute, to share, maybe your experience, I need someone to guide you, yes, you can always send us a message on the number on your screen, and we'll gladly love to hear from you. Joy.
Yes, it's been a wonderful and educating one here in the studio. Of course, we talked about communication, the bedrock of relationship or marriage. So you've known that there are good communications and bad communication. The mode in which you communicate is very important. As you go about your daily business, learn to communicate properly. Not even in marriages, in your office, in your colleague, how you talk to your neighbor helps a lot, so that you don't have feelings all the time. Thank you very much for being a part of Family and Values. We'll see you tomorrow on Healthy Thursday. My name is Joy Abu. Okay,
it's another wonderful time. We wish you will still be here, but you can still continue with our beautiful programs on Galaxy Television even up to now. My name is Remain Olori AJ, and you can always follow us on our social media handles. You can follow me at Olori Adoke Adobe David on Facebook in full, Olori Adoke Adobe David.